What up, what up, what up? What's really good, y'all? It's your boy, Aaron Bevins, the Millennial Entrepreneur, and you know what time it is. Today is Friday, September 9th, and we're going live as we have been consistently for a little over 2 weeks. But today's live is a little bit different, and today's live is a little bit different for a couple reasons. Number one, I got a couple special guests that are going to come on, and these are individuals that I have much respect for. I really love these guys. They've helped me in my business. They've inspired me in my business. They've pushed me to do more in my business as an entrepreneur, and I'm really excited for them to come on and share value with you. So that's the first reason why today is different. The second reason why today is different, holy moly, you guys show up crazy on Fridays and the weekends. We already got 55 people live across all platforms. How do y'all show up so fast? It's crazy. 65 people live. Holy moly. In the first few seconds of the live, let's go. Let's go. I love the fact that y'all show up so crazy. Y'all surprise me, man. On Friday, what? Y'all ain't got nothing better to do than to listen to this value and come get these nuggets. I love to see it. All right, man, we are at 90 people live across all platforms. You guys are crazy. All right, with that said, I'm sure we're probably going to get to 200 people live on this thing across all platforms. Shout out my Facebook profile, shout out the Facebook group, shout out YouTube, shout out the LinkedIn page. The second reason why today's live is going to be different than the normal lives in this series, y'all, is I'm not going to be making live calls. Now, you're going to get just as much value, so I want you guys to make sure to stay to the end. We're not going to make this live as long as my usual lives. Usually, I go live 2 hours every single day. Today, we're not going to go live the full 2 hours. Today, we're just going to do about an hour, 45 minutes to an hour, depending on how much engagement you guys give us, okay? But here's the thing. Here's why I'm not going to be making calls today, all right? As of yesterday, we were at $79,000, all right, locked up. $79,000 locked up in contracts. All right. As of today, guys, in contracts, in inked deals, we are at $87,000 locked up. I locked up an $8,000 deal. This was a 4 package of lots, and each lot they're basically baby deals, little micro deals on the west side of town. 4 deals, and they're $2,000 a pop that we're going to be getting. Beautiful deals, and it's $8K. So as of today, y'all, we are at $87,000 in locked up deals in a little over 2 weeks. All right, so I'm incredibly excited to be able to show you guys how to sell these deals. I'm incredibly excited to show you guys the HUDs. I've already had a few people reach out and be like, Aaron, are you sure this isn't cap? Guys, we've run the comps together. We've looked at the numbers together. I have documented the signatures of these deals, and we're going to document the disposition of these deals. I was just telling the 2 special guests that we have that I may actually end up giving 2 of these to the 2 special guests that we have on this live. I may end up flipping one with one and then assigning one to the other. All right, so I'm incredibly excited to be able to show this to you guys. Guys, we are already at 115 people live across all platforms. Shout out YouTube, shout out Facebook, shout out LinkedIn. We love you guys to death. With that said, guys, here's what we're going to be going over today. We're going to be doing Q&A. We're going to be answering you guys' questions, because what I've noticed over the last couple weeks in doing these lives, what I've noticed is that you guys have so many questions, and I'm only able to get to like half of them. I'm only able to get to a fraction of them. So I want you to get your questions ready. Do you have questions about running comps? Do you have questions about ARV? Do you have questions about the formula? Do you have questions about hiring? Do you have questions about VAs? Do you have questions about mentorship? Do you have questions about community? Do you have questions about real estate? Do you have questions about building the business, entrepreneurship? Whatever you have questions about, you're going to have 3 minds, 3 young killers on this live who actually do this business, who are actual entrepreneurs, showing you the way, all right? Because we actually do that. We're not out here teaching people, but we're not actually doing it. We actually do this business, all right? With that said, I'm going to bring on our first guest. Those of you who don't know, this man is the CEO and founder of Clutch Investments. He's the one giving you content daily on YouTube, on TikTok, on IG, on Facebook. He's one of my favorite people here in San Antonio, the one and only Mr. JR Clutch Hernandez. I'm about to bring him up. Family. What's up, JR? How are you?
Good, bro. Good, bro. How you doing, bro?
I'm hyped, bro. I'm hyped, man. I'm hyped. So guys, JR is the first guest that we have on today's show. We have another one that we're going to be bringing on in a little bit. But JR, you're somebody, bro. I've been rocking with you, bro, since 2019? We started chopping it up, talking about our vision for what we were going to do with business and content and things like that. We started in the business around the same time, but there may be people here on the live or on the replay who don't really know you yet, bro. So real quick, before we hop into this, just give us a little quick intro on who you are, what you got going on in business, and what you're doing right now, bro, so people know the caliber of person that's in front of us right now.
Yeah, man. Well, man, first of all, thank you for having me on your show, bro. I watched this and it's crazy what you're doing right now, bro. So, like, I see what you're doing and, like, you're just giving out crazy free game. Like, I'm talking about, like, the stuff that you're doing right now, people are charging $20,000 for easy. Like, easy. Like, it's crazy. So, shout out to that, man. Shout out to your community. You're really giving back. And I really like what you're doing, bro. As far as
Appreciate
what
you,
I'm
bro.
doing, yeah, for sure, bro. But as far as what I'm doing, man, I mean, I'm doing what y'all are doing, right? So we wholesale real estate, we flip real estate, we rent, we're renting properties, and we're getting into new builds. But most importantly to your viewers is we create content, free 100% content, just like what you do, and we just try to give back to the community because, like, in all reality, I just love what I do, man. I love
Yep.
this. It's easy for me to give back.
So let's ask a couple questions before we bring on our next guest, guys. I promise you, you're going to want to stay on this live until the very end. The amount of value that's going to be dropped on today's live is going to change some of you guys' business. And I would venture to go out on a limb and say it might even change your life, right? Because I'm telling you, conversations with these guys, people would pay thousands of dollars for. I'm blessed to have these guys in my circle to be able to mastermind with them just on a daily, weekly basis. But make sure you stay for the end. But before I bring on our next guest, JR, let me ask you a couple questions. Number one, what is the biggest wholesale deal that you've ever closed? Right? If I gave you a license to flex, what's the biggest wholesale deal you've ever closed? And what is the most amount of money you've generated wholesaling real estate in 1 month?
Ooh, man, you know what? Honestly, bro, I don't really like to talk numbers, but for you, I got you. So the biggest one deal that we've closed was my guy Dom, straight to seller marketing. It was a cold call lead, just like what y'all are doing or what you're doing on your show. And it was a 12 property package here in San
Ooh,
Antonio. So it was all over the city. It was west side, south side, east side. It was 12 properties. And we got the property locked up at 1.3 mil.
uh-huh,
And actually, it was 1.35 mil.
uh-huh.
And we flipped the contract for 1.5. So that netted us 150, but we still went in for a price drop and we ended up making 175,000.
Yo, hold up, y'all. Hold up. Did y'all hear that? That's a lesson. This is why I ask questions like this, y'all. It's not to impress y'all. It's not to flex. Honestly, it's to inspire, but it's also lessons learned. This says so much about y'all's mindset. So this is true clutch. Y'all. They got it locked up for 1.3. They sold it for a $150,000 assignment fee, and then y'all still went back and got it price dropped and ended up walking away with 165.
175.
175,000. Let me ask you this real quick before you answer the next question, bro. Which, by the way, I haven't even done let me see. Your biggest deal is bigger than my biggest month that I've ever done in wholesaling. So that's fire. So number one, that's fire. What inspired you guys to still go back for the price drop? Knowing you're about to hit a 150, y'all still went back for the price drop. What compelled you guys to do that?
Well, so the deal was, man, honestly, this deal was, we weren't the first wholesaler with this contract. So
Uh,
yeah, so it was already, it was trying, like a bunch of people tried to move it, and we were the only ones to get it done. So when we came across this guy, we told him, look, we've seen this property come across our emails from, three different wholesalers, and
uh,
nobody can get it done. So look,
uh.
we're gonna try our best to move this for you, but I'm just letting you know up front that, we might need it a little bit lower. And we know we just we put the thought in his head before.
Okay, okay. I see what you're saying. So you planted that seed before. Very smart. Guys,
Right.
this is the caliber of the person who's going to be dropping game on y'all over the next few minutes, right? This is why I asked this question. We didn't plan this, so I didn't even know that, to be honest. $175,000. Real quick, bro, before you answer the next question and we bring on our next guest, um, how did that feel, bro? $175,000 hits the business bank account at one time. Like what does that even feel like, bro?
Man, man, it's crazy. I don't want to sound like all any type of way, but honestly, I didn't feel nothing, bro. Like
Mm,
after, like, I mean, we've been in the game for a long time, and we
yeah,
just we co-selling generates a lot of money, a lot of money, a lot of money, and honestly,
yeah.
I didn't feel nothing, bro. And that kind of like, honestly, in that moment, I was just like, damn. So what is it about then? Like, you know what I mean? It's just like, what am
What is life, bro? What is
I,
life?
it's like, what am I really doing this for? So I mean, honestly, like, I didn't. I mean, to be honest, it didn't change. Like, I didn't feel no type of way. I think it's just different because it's a wire, Like
Yeah,
when you see it
yeah.
in flash, it might have been different. I don't know.
Hey, so y'all, so just so y'all know how far back me and JR go, JR was there. He was there in the title company the first time I hit six-figure month. You remember when we partied at the title company, JR?
Oh yeah, I do remember that.
We were there at the time. So for those of you that don't know, I've been knowing JR since like 2019, maybe even early, maybe even 2018. Like we really started like talking, chopping it up. So this is 2019. I hit my first six-figure month, yo. I think that month we closed probably it was like 100 and something, probably 105, 110,000, all in all like and a lot of that closed like on that same weekend. So for me, that was the most amount of money, y'all, that I had ever seen at one time. This is back in 2019. JR was there. We got a few bottles that day, and we just enjoyed the time. We didn't get crazy or anything like that, but at the title company, we just sipped, relaxed, talked business. It was an incredible time, and guys. So one of the reasons why I say like my success that I've seen is being around guys like this. Just chopping it up with them, just talking with them. So that's what's up. That's what's up. But I love your mindset, bro. Because the reason why I said that, JR, is because that's exactly how I felt that first time I hit six figures in 1 month back in 2019. I remember being there and being like, I mean, okay, what I mean? What changes on Monday?
Yeah,
I'm still gonna hustle. I'm still gonna grind. We're just going harder. You know what I mean? So I
yeah.
feel you on that. All right, before we bring on our next guest, let me ask you this: what's the biggest month you've ever done wholesaling real estate? Let's just say your Clutch Investments company. What's the biggest month you've ever done for
So
inspirational purposes only?
just like my wholesale deals, or
Let's say your wholesale deals. Let's say wholesale deals.
so it was that month, obviously, because I had
Okay.
a big head start. Man, we that month we closed. It's just like a little over 440K, bro. Crazy, crazy, bro. Yeah.
Yo, put some fire emojis in the comment section if that is inspiring. By the way, if you're at this table, remember what we said, y'all. This is your tribe. So you can't talk big moves around small people because it feels like bragging. This is not bragging. All right? We're successful people here. And even if you've never done something like this, just know that your time just hasn't come yet. You just got to put in the time. So he's not bragging. We're sharing this to let you know, hey, these are the possibilities. But y'all, I mean, my flex when I first got started in the business was in my first full year, y'all. I did $500,000 in assignments in my first full year. In JR's biggest month, He just did just shy of 500,000, y'all. 400 and something thousand in 1 month. Guys, what would that do for your family? What would that do for your business? What would that do for your team if you closed out on almost $500,000 in 1 month? What a month. What am I? The biggest wholesaling month I think I've ever had is probably about 150,000. So I mean y'all can see, right? I mean, for a lot of people that would be impressive, but y'all see why I go so hard. I got friends like this. You know what I mean? How crazy is that, y'all? How crazy is that? I love to see it. I love to see it. So that's the caliber of the person that we're dealing with, y'all. We got YouTube world saying JR had to take a chug of water after explaining facts. Facts. All right, guys. The next guest that we're going to bring on is going to be all three of us, and we're going to be talking all things business, how to build your business. We're going to be answering questions. We're going to be going over what it looks like behind the scenes when you're building your wholesaling operation. For those of you that are just tuning in right now, we have 150 people live across all platforms: YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. I'm sorry, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn. And guys, today we're not going to be making calls because I already locked up 8K today. We're officially at $87,000 locked up in contracts from these lives. We're at $87,000 as of today, and we only need 13,000 more dollars. And so with that said, I wanted to give you guys back end operations game today. So that's why we have these high level players. This next individual is the CEO and founder of Infinite Productions, the CEO and founder of Virtual Squad, the CEO and founder of Yo Mama, the one and only Quentin Flores, coming back again. By the way, y'all, Quentin Flores is actually going live. He's a real OG. He's going live today out of his mother-in-law's house. He took Bubba, my nephew, over to his grandma's house. So he's going live like a real G, guys, from his grandma's house. So Q, a lot of people already know you. So many have already seen you from the lives that we've done, and they know you from your brand. But let's talk a little bit about your organization as a whole. And this is a license to flex, right? We want people, because we're going to be talking about business, and we want to talk about the caliber of what we're doing, because I don't want to just go into game queue. I want people to know why we are so confident in talking about business. So I'm going to phrase this question a little bit differently for you. I'm going to phrase this question like this. Number one, how many companies do you own? And number two, what is the most amount of gross revenue you have brought in 1 month organizationally?
Right now, I have 18 different companies that I'm currently operating. I have CEOs, CFOs, COOs. I got people that pretty much oversee everything. The most amount of money that I've generated in one of these businesses in one single month is $1.7 million.
That was one business?
That's one business, correct.
Dang, I was asking organizationally. Bro, you have what business did that?
That's my Ecom business, man.
It generated $1.1 million in gross revenue in 1 month?
No, that's not gross. That's net. That's net. That's how much I took home in 1 month. That's from Ecom. That right there is a different business model. Every single month in Ecom, I'm doing about 5 million, 6 million in sales and just product. And so our profit margin for that on a monthly basis is between 25 and 35%. I love Ecom. That's one of my favorite businesses.
Bruh, JR, what say you?
Crazy, bro. I'm in the wrong business, bro.
Bro, I did not expect that, y'all. I swear to you, I did not expect that. I promise you, on everything I love, I did not Bro, just to put into perspective, guys, to put that into perspective, I only have 3 companies, okay? I have 3 companies. Guys, my wholesaling company is projected to do $1.2 million, right, in a year. That's my wholesaling company, and I teach people how to do this, and I teach a lot of people how to do this. My man's Ecom business, $1.1 million in 1 month net. So guys, listen, we're all at different levels. between me, JR, Q, obviously we all know what business is. We're all fascinated with business. It's what we do. We're not here to flex on you guys. We're not here to make anybody on here feel like you're not doing enough. We're here to serve you guys. So if you feel like that's what we're doing, this might not be the live for you. These are big thinkers. We're going to talk big. We're here to stretch your context. We're here to make you feel a little bit uncomfortable, not to make you feel bad, but to show you what you can be doing. All right. With that said, you already got so many people showing love. Guys, what I want you guys to do, because we're going to be answering a lot of questions, I want you to be thinking about what questions do you have. If you could ask a bunch of millionaires, you're in the room with a few millionaires, what would you ask them to do? I mean, I'm sorry, what would you ask them about your business? What would you ask them about life? What would you ask them about success? All right. You have our attention right now, and we're here to serve you over the next 30 to 45 minutes. So get those questions queued up and put them in the comment section. All right. What I need to know in the meantime is what city you're from, what state you're in, where you're marketing. That way we can shout you guys out. All we ask of you guys is to engage with us and share this out, like this if you're getting value, right? Because we're here to serve you guys. With that said, before we make this happen, we're going to have a quick intro, and then we're going to hop right into the game. No fluff, no fat, just value. Let's get
close
it, y'all.
It. Pick up the phone, close it. Big ass scroll, close it. $1 million deal, close it. Yeah, it's all on you, close it. What you gonna do? Close it. I want the proof, close it. $1 million deal, close it. Hey.
All right, y'all. So with that said, we already have a few questions that are coming in. Shout out to those who are already engaging. Let me just shout some of these guys out. We got San Antonio in the building. San Antonio showing up very heavy. Greenville, North Carolina. What up? Chicago, South Suburbs in the building. All right, so guys, today we are not making calls. We are answering your questions about wholesaling real estate, about business, entrepreneurship, and life, all of the above. So we got one question that has first come in, and we'll just kind of answer this as we go along. But let's answer this one first. I think this is an Ecom question. This is from Facebook user who says, "What products are you selling on Ecom?"
Man, on Ecom we sell everything and anything. So the main department that we stay in inside of our Ecom business is mostly home decor and home improvement products. Those ones carry the highest ROI. And pretty much, man, if you can catch a sale for a week on one platform, you can pretty much buy out an entire fucking store of inventory. And so Ecom's a really interesting business. You have to have license to redistribute and also resell another company's products. So you have to get all of that stuff set up before you can actually start playing. A lot of people, most of you guys that get involved with Ecom, you just automatically assume that it's drop shipping. We do a lot more than drop shipping. We do traditional FBA. I do warehousing. It's one of my most profitable businesses, and it's definitely a whole fucking lot of fun, man, like straight up. I love it just as much as I love real estate. Real estate's kind of what got me out there, but, I diversified my income. I started doing different things, started hiring different people, started really just walking into my light, man. So Ecom's an interesting business model, and it's really just all internet sales, but it's also a blanket term to define a multitude of ways to do business. When somebody asks me like, dude, are you in real estate? When you say real estate, you really could say realtor.
So what you're saying is a lot of companies are focused on marketing
things, right? So it's like whenever you're looking at Ecom's the same thing. When you say that you're in e-commerce, you could be doing Shopify, you could be doing eBay, you could be doing two-step drop shipping, you could be doing a million different things. So it's the same thing, man. I like traditional FBA. I love to do two-step drop shipping, and we also do drop shipping as well. So I mean, we love building out stores, man. It's really awesome business model.
Very, very cool. All right, so I hope that answered your question, the Facebook user. Remember, guys, those of you just tuning in right now, we have about 150 people live across all platforms. Today, we are answering questions live. We're already at $87,000 locked up for in a little over 2 weeks, and so we are not making calls today. We're answering you guys' questions about business and entrepreneurship because we wanna, there's more to the business than just making calls. And there's more to entrepreneurship than just wholesaling, right? So we want to answer all of your questions, all things entrepreneurship today, and that's what we're doing with these two amazing people that we have on the call. Let's pass this next one to JR. This question is from Bobby Mason out of Chattanooga, Tennessee. JR, he says, what's the best list to call? How would you answer that, bro?
So like if they're just starting out, I mean, you definitely want to hit like a very targeted niche list. Like personally in my business, since we're trying to do a lot of deals, we'll hit like blanket lists, obviously, because we gotta keep the cold callers busy, because you'll run through a niche list real quick. You'll know that once you like start cold calling. But I mean, if it's just a one-man team and you're just trying to get deals, I think the best list would probably be definitely driving for dollars and a probate list. Probate list, there's obviously some motivation because the owner passed away, and so there's going to be a lot of motivation there. And then the driving for dollars list, I mean, we recommend that to everybody, right? I think a lot of deals that you got from your from these phone calls were from driving for dollars, right?
Yep. Yes, sir.
87K in a month.
Yeah, 87K, and right now we're almost at 3 weeks. We're at about 2.5 weeks, 87K. So we have $13,000, 13K more that we need within the next week and a half.
That's wild, bro. So I mean, obviously the answer is right there. So you see Aaron doing it right in front of you, calling a driving for dollars list. It's literally a free list. You're just driving around your city looking for vacant houses or really distressed properties, and he's able to generate 87,000 in 3 weeks. Like, there's your answer right there. But besides that, definitely a probate list. I used to hit that list hard, and I was able to get some really, really like life-changing deals through that list.
It's funny, bro, that's probate is one of the lists that really started taking my business to the next level as well. For a long time, probate was one of my favorite lists. Can you just break down to those who, a lot of people on here, bro, they haven't even done their first deal. Some of them, bro, like this series is their introduction to wholesaling. So how would you break down what is a probate list? What does that mean, probate?
So it's just like when somebody passes away, their property goes through the court system, and that's where you get all that information from the people that passed away. So there's nobody that owns that house anymore. So then it goes to the court systems, and that's where you pull that list from. So I used to have somebody go to the courthouse, literally, like they would literally work at the courthouse for me, just getting all the data, going through the computers, and then they would just bring me back the scrub list, and I would just pay them per lead. That's the way I would do it personally. I was always getting the fresh probates. And dude, I was when I first started, that was the one for me, man. It was really game changing.
Let's before we go, because there's another question right now that I want to pass on to Q. Let's say somebody's listening to this and they're like, man, that JR guy, he really resonates with me. I like the fact that he said probate. I like the fact that he said that you can go get it from your own city. Where do they go to get the probate list? Where do they go to get it?
You got to go. So every county has a department that handles probate. Most of the time it's public information, but you do have to pay per record, and sometimes they'll charge per page. So you might have to actually physically go down there to siphon through these probate records, because they may only
go down. Where would they go to get it?
There's a probate department in your local courthouse. So this is something that I think is super cool, and it's a resource that's not tapped into. Now, if for whatever reason, let's say you're stretched for time, you work a 9 to 5, you can't just go and spend a few hours at the courthouse trying to figure this stuff out. Aaron shared an awesome resource with me a while ago for a company that actually provides you with a probate list. I tried it out for 3 months and we squeezed a deal out of it. So I thought it was legit. It's just kind of expensive, but you definitely get some good stuff. And you also get resources. They put you in contact with the executrix. They put you in contact with the person who filed the probate and the attorney, as well as multiple phone numbers of all the family members that are involved as well. Aaron, what was the name of that company again?
They're called ATL, or All the Leads. So if you type in alltheleads.com, you can go to alltheleads.com, you guys, and they will provide you the freshest probate scrubbed leads. This is one of the resources that made my company blow up back in 2018.
No one was doing that. When Aaron had jumped in the game, he really wrote a niche right here. Right now, guys, all these cats that are pushing their lists and pushing products and pushing what they feel is the best stuff, they're going to all tell you the same thing: absentee owner, high equity. Guys, and while everybody was doing that, I was one of those guys. I saw Aaron's company locking up 6-figure months, and we're over here like cold calling all of these records, not finding anybody who's really interested. We found a few, but Aaron was real niche specific at the beginning. And I think that that's something that's long forgotten. These softwares have truthfully made the wholesaling community lazy, bro. And so I always tell them, the best records that you're always going to find are going to be at your local county clerk, where you can actually pull that data. You can pull judgments, you can pull liens, you can pull tax delinquencies, you can pull memorandums, you can pull probate, you can pull pre-foreclosures before any of these softwares and systems even get them. So I love going to the courthouse and getting leads. It's the best data that you'll ever get.
Yep. Fire. So, Bobby, I hope that answers your question. JR said, obviously driving for dollars, probate's going to be fire. Tax delinquent, code violations are always going to be pretty good. So I hope that benefits you guys. We have 180 people live across all platforms. Shout out to everybody who's here on a Friday evening. Y'all are some real diehard entrepreneurs, I can tell. Y'all could be turning up. Y'all can be, partying, doing all sorts of crazy stuff, and y'all are here getting game from us, and we appreciate that. With that said, guys, we are not making calls today. We are dropping game, showing you guys how to build your business, and we're answering questions, because there is more to this business than just making the calls. And as of today, we're already at $87,000 locked up, right? And I'm just reiterating this, guys, because there's lots of people still tuning in live, and they might be expecting these calls. With that said, we have another question, and whoever wants to jump on this, answer this question. Guys, make sure you put your questions in the comment section. That's all we're doing today, is engaging you guys and answering your questions, okay? Jose Ramirez.
You mind real quick, guys? Another thing too, man. So a good friend of mine's in the comments. I see him dropping game. If y'all trying to take your data and your lists to the next level, you got to follow my dude Tyler. This guy really taught me a lot about looking at leads and looking at data, and his platform organizes the crap out of what we do in our business. So I just want to give a shout out to my guy, because he's always on these lives showing love.
Shout out to Tyler, Austin, y'all. Me and him are going to be connecting on something pretty cool, and hopefully we have something really, really awesome that we can bring to you guys here pretty soon. With that said, before we ask this question, I'm gonna ask JR first. I like to share some personal stuff. I've been going live with a lot of almost every day, so I've been sharing like personal stuff. It's been a very, very busy week, guys. So y'all know how I let off stress. I do bad stuff, y'all. I do bad stuff. Look what I just went. My wife got me at Sam's Club, y'all, a whole thing of Reese's Pieces. And I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna say I'm stressed. I'm not really stressed. I'm not stressed, but low key, like, it's exhausting going live every single day, 2 hours a day, dropping content, recording content, organizing my businesses, answering questions all the time in the DMs, doing the coaching calls. I'm exhausted, man. I'm spent. You know what I mean? So I'm about to go ham on this, and I got some Coke, not cocaina, Coca-Cola. All right, and I'm gonna put some rum and Coke, and my Reese's Pieces, y'all. This is how I get off, y'all. This is how I get off on the weekends. All right, so I just wanted to share that with you guys. So if y'all see me chowing down on chocolate, it's because it's these Reese's Pieces. By the way, these are my favorite chocolates. If anybody ever wants to get me a gift, get me Reese's Pieces. All right, so with that said, y'all, I want to ask this question to both Q and JR, but let me start with JR first. This is a good question from YouTube World. He says, did y'all cut off a lot of people to get where you're at? For example, JR, did you have to cut off any friends, family? Did you have to like cut back on going out, etc.? What did you have to cut out, or did you have to cut out any family members or friends in order to get to where you are today?
Family, I wouldn't say my family. I'm real close to my family, but yeah, a lot of my friends, I would say I did definitely switch up my circle. I mean, that saying that people tell you, like, I know it's like played out, but like the people that you hang around with the most is like who you're gonna be like, right? And dude, that's so true, bro. So true. Like, you won't recognize it until you actually change your circle, and you'll understand like how true that is. And so yeah, man, actually I did. I changed my circle up. And I did stop going out as much, man. I stopped drinking so much, like partying, all that stuff, man. You got to get focused. Like, if you're really trying to hit like, you know, certain levels in business and success, like you're definitely going to have to sacrifice the stuff that doesn't add to that, right? So you got to add, you know, I switched up a lot of things, right? Like now I read every day. I never read, you know. I do meditation, stuff like that. Like I never used to do that stuff. I thought it was all like hocus pocus stuff. Like I don't even go out. Like I'm on a live right now on a Friday at 8 p.m. Like before I would have been at fucking Ojos Locos with my friends drinking beer and shit. Like I'm over here like just really trying to focus and dial in.
I love it. I love to see it. So Q, how would you answer this, bro? Did you have to cut off a lot of people to get to where you're at?
I'm gonna give you guys the most straightforward and honest answer to that question, because I know that there's a lot of people, and I don't want to be cliche either. So I like to just be real, man. I posted this earlier, and I'm just gonna share it real quick because I think that this is powerful. I said this. I said I don't feel sorry for nobody grown and capable. Y'all swear people, things, etc. be holding you back, but it really just be you stuck in your ways, and you won't make the necessary changes to be better. So that is on you. It ain't the devil. It ain't the city you in. It's not the people that you're around. It's literally you. And so, guys,
you got some flack on social media. I saw some people in there that were really like, this is that toxic mentality at its finest. There was a few people in there that were giving you slack on that.
You know, and this is the reason why, bro, is because it's challenges traditional thinking. And I think that a lot of people, bro, like, I don't care what circle I'm in, I can love that version of individuals around me and still seek for greater. You know what I mean? And so this is the thing that I learned in a Darren Hardy book. You got to take 100% responsibility for the outcome of your life. If you always think that it's your circle or the people that you're after that are holding you back and you don't truthfully elevate, bro, like I got a relationship with my woman, right? Love her to death, but she be drinking and I don't care. It's not something that I involve myself in. You know, she'll want to go to clubs. She'll want me to take her out to clubs. I take her out to places out of town. We go out to places together. We see things together. My version of fun is no longer going to the clubs and partying anymore. That doesn't mean that I'm not going to love her, even though that's what she wants to do. Her shit does not interfere with what I have going on in my life because I own my life and I own the outcome. So if you truthfully allow your outside influences to gauge your outcome, then you're just weak-minded and you need to grow up so that you can own your life. And I'm telling you it how it is, brother. Like there has to come a point in your life where you realize that it ain't no one else's fault for your life but your own. And once you take 100% responsibility for the outcome, then you can control the direction that you actually want to go. Dude, I go to the gym and I still hang out with people that want to eat fast food. You know, I go and I do these fast food restaurants and I order my salad. Everybody wants to eat burgers and stuff around me. They don't let it affect me. It doesn't make me make a bad decision because I'm in control of my own outcome. Once you take back responsibility, brother, you take back control. So just wanted to give y'all that advice.
Yeah, no, I love that. I love that. Two powerful answer, guys. Do you see why JR is doing what he's doing in business? You don't hit $500,000 in a month on accident, y'all. I'll tell you that much. And you for sure don't hit no doggone 1.1 million in one of your 18 companies in 1 month net on accident. That there's a lot of intention behind that, and there's a lot of self-control behind these men. And so I love it. Here's a really, really good question. I want to take this one, guys. Bobby Mason says, best multitasking hacks. Are you ready, Bobby? Are you ready? Here's my best multitasking hack for you. Don't. Multitasking is a myth. Multitasking, people who brag about the ability to multitask, it's a myth, right? In fact, if somebody tells me how good of a multitasker they are, I kind of don't want them on my team, because multitasking is basically doing multiple things at one time at the lowest possible quality that you could. All right. Have you ever tried to be on the phone while you're cooking? You ever see the mom who's on the phone while she's cooking? You know, they say that women can multitask. All that means is that you can get by. But have you ever tried to be on the phone while you're cooking and you're trying to listen to what the news is saying? So, like, either somebody's not being paid attention to. It's either the person on the phone or the news. But you can't listen to both at the same time. right? There is no such thing as multitasking. Sometimes I get it. There's multiple fires happening at once and you have to do your best to manage, but that's like juggling. Whenever you're juggling, you really only have one ball in your hand at a time. You don't have multiple in your hand at a time, right? So my recommendation is don't multitask. Stop trying to multitask. If you do that, you're going to end up making a millimeter of progress in a million different directions. And after 6 months, you're going to hate your life because you're going to be like, man, why am I not making money? I'm working so hard. Focus on one thing at a time and time block, right? Focus on one thing at a time and do that thing to the maximum that's going to move the needle in your business and help you make more money. Stop multitasking. That's my answer to that. What do you guys say about this question before we move on to the next one, y'all?
Yeah, I agree 100%. There's no way that, like, I've tried to multitask before. It's just not happening. What you got to do is, like, actually focus on one task at a time, get it done, move on to the next. Like, literally every morning, I just have, like, a little notebook, and I write down all my most important tasks that I got to get done that day, and I literally just cross them off, like, line by line. Yep. But I focus on one at a time. You know, there's no way, like, you could actually do multiple at once.
100%. Here's what's crazy. So today I put all my stuff on sticky notes, and you guys, you can see that I cross through stuff whenever I'm done with it. I do the same thing, JR. I do the same thing. Mm-hmm. How about you, Q? Do you have anything to say on that, or do you feel like it was covered already?
So I'm ADHD. So for me, it's actually a gift that I'm able to multitask, and that is a hack. However, I will say that my mentor had to check the crap out of me on that because I was doing so many things at one time. So if I were you guys and I were to be like, let's say you're in a position right now where you feel like you can't get anything done because you're getting a little bit of a lot of things done, then you have to systemize that. Think about those positions in your company that require that amount of attention. And then you just begin delegating. Guys, I noticed that I was spending 75% of my time on social media, posting on my own behalf. I created a system and a process so that I could do posts without me having to do this anymore. I hired an in-house executive admin that oversees everything. I hired a social media manager to manage all of my posts. Even the stories that you guys see are pre-recorded, stuff that I've already done and things that I'm doing constantly. All I ever focus on is mass bulk filming. And that is it, which takes about 7 hours of my day, of my time every single week. And that's got to be something that a lot of people don't fully understand is once you start multitasking, it means that you're taking on more tasks than you can handle. And you actually stunt your growth. You can make more money if you hired somebody amazing and you paid them well to do that job on your behalf. So if you want to do a lot of things at one time and you feel like you're not getting it done, then now's the time that you can start hiring, because I promise you that person that you hire is going to make you excel to the next level, because now you're getting more things done because other people are handling those tasks for you.
I love that. I love that. This is why it's cool to mastermind and have different perspectives, right? Because I love that. The true hack at multitasking is hiring, right? If you want to get multiple things done at the same time, you got to have multiple people doing it. I love that. I love that. Beautiful, beautiful. All right, so with that said, let's move on to the next one. Guys, keep putting your questions in. We're going to engage with you guys and answer your questions about business, entrepreneurship, and we got some good questions coming in here. But let's take Solar Matt. He says, I've got a homeowner that's looking to sell her house, but it doesn't need repairs. It's built in 2005. How would I structure this deal to get paid? JR, right off the bat, what would you say? How would you answer that? I think this is a pretty simple one. Solar Matt, I don't think Solar Matt has done his first deal yet. So I think Solar Matt is just getting into the game. So you can kind of tell based on the question, right?
Yeah.
How would you answer this question though?
I mean, I don't think you would change anything up. I mean, you're still going to make the offer the same way you would make it, you know? I mean, you know, same thing, same formula I would use.
Yeah. So Solar Matt, anything that doesn't need repairs, you still need to get it. It's called wholesaling, bro. Wholesale means it cannot be retail, right? So even if it doesn't need repairs, and it's built in 2005, I'm still going to offer my 62% as the wholesale, and that's going to be my offer. Okay. Now, another way to structure it, if this is what you're asking, bro, is you could always do what's called a novation. Okay. And, and or a wholesale. But for the sake of simplicity, I'll keep it simple. And on deals like this, let's say this property is built in 2005, doesn't need any repairs, and it's worth, let's call it 200,000, and the seller wants 230, 240. You know, it might not be a wholesale deal, right? It's not a wholesale deal. But what I would do is I would let the seller know, hey, I can offer cash, but I can also get you a little bit more if you allow me to list it on the MLS. Now, if you allow me to list it on the MLS, I'm not going to, you don't have to pay any of the realtor fees. And what we do, guys, is we have the seller sign a listing agreement with our agent. We will pay the listing, we'll pay the agent, we'll put it on the MLS, and then we'll capture the difference between whatever we contracted it for and whatever we sell it for on the MLS. We do this all the time, and you don't need to novate the deal in order to do this if it is a cash buyer or an investor. However, if it is a buyer using traditional financing, typically they will require that you are the owner, or that they buy directly from the owner. So in that case, you'll need to novate the deal, which basically means you'll have to have the power to be able to sell the property on behalf of the seller. And so you'll need to do a novation agreement with the seller to do that. Q, JR, do y'all have any experience on how you would get a novation agreement signed with the seller? Could you break that down in a minute or less?
You want me to run it, JR? You got it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Typically it's an agreement. So guys, I mean, it's all terms, it's all contract, it's paperwork. And you just got to make sure that when you're talking about this, that you're using the proper verbiage. Like, I think that a lot of people, they get an novation, and then a lot of them, the seller could get confused. They're like, why would I want to do this with you, right? The only way that they're going to agree to this is if it's advantageous to them. And
Thanks.
So if I were you guys, and you want to do novation, I'm not qualified to teach it. We do it at our office. I always just point everybody in the direction of my friend Corey Greery, because he already has the whole system in place. That's who taught us. And I just feel a lot better you guys going to him. But if I'm going to lock up a deal, the best way that you mitigate any risk when coming into an agreement is always setting up the proper expectations. 90% of most deals falling through are because of people over-promising and under-delivering. So it's so imperative that you set up a realistic time frame, and you're 1,000% open about the possible exits, the possible risks, the possible outcomes. Because when you set the proper expectation, I mean, dude, you remember that part in 8 Mile, right? When he says everything negative about himself at the end, and he beats Papa Doc in that rap battle. Yeah. It's the same thing. Like, you got to let him know every single thing that could possibly go wrong with that deal. Because guess what it creates? They're going to see that you're genuine because you're being vulnerable about the strategy and the risks that are involved. So, just be open, dude. That's the best way that you guys can get deals done. It's how I do all of our real estate deals. And I like operating with full-blown honesty in every single department of our business.
Beautiful, beautiful. I love it. Here's another one. Let's answer this one quickly. This is a good one, guys. You guys are asking some absolutely incredible questions. Paul Sullivan says, when do you start another business? When do you decide to start another business? It's a very vague question, but it's a practical one, right? I think that, let me just say this before you guys answer it, whoever wants to take this one, let me just say this. I think the majority of people who wholesale real estate, even successfully, wholesaling in of itself is not like a passion for them. Like, I know for me, I love wholesaling real estate. I really do. I really, really enjoy it. I enjoy the business. I still get butterflies when I think about it. That's how I know it's real. You know what I mean? It's been over 5 years, and I still get excited when assignment fees come in. I love it. I don't think I'm ever going to get rid of the business. Even if regulation hits, I'm just going to work a way around it. I think it's a cash machine. I love it. But I do have other businesses because, guys, what I'm excited about is I love educating. I love inspiring. I love sitting knee to knee with people, and that moment where the epiphany goes off in you guys' eyes, and that twinkle of excitement, like, oh, I love being the culprit of that. I love being the person that brings that to you. I love helping you guys see success. So, educating and being on these lives and sitting with you guys and coaching and running my coaching program and doing, that's my passion. So how did I know when it was time to do that? When my wholesaling business was automated, in the sense where everybody was doing all of the roles, had a butt sitting in the seat doing the thing, and all I was doing was managing my company. When I was doing that and making money, then I knew, hey, I want to, and I have the money to invest in this other venture. That's why I decided to open my next business. So that's how I determined when it was time to start another business. A, because I had a passion for something else, and B, I had my business automated and I was making money. How do you guys answer this question? This is a really good practical question.
Dude, I just had JR on my podcast, and he was talking about how he literally flipped businesses to get to his real estate company. And dude,
Facts.
you got to share that, bro, because it's fire. That's going to be on next week's episode, so y'all be ready for that.
That is a really cool story.
Yeah, that's gonna be fire. Yeah. So for me, well, you think I should tell him about that?
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely
man.
tell them that you owned other businesses before getting into real estate.
Right, guys. So before wholesaling, I knew nothing about wholesaling. So honestly, my dream was always to build houses. I don't know why, like to build custom homes. That was always my vision for some reason. And so when I was 23, man, I had zero money. I had no money whatsoever. I had no skills, first and foremost, no skills, no college education, and no money. But I'm like, damn, like I gotta figure this out. How am I gonna make money and learn how to build houses, flip houses, and be a real estate investor? So the first thing I did, bro, is take massive action, right? Like I was like, one thing I know for certain is I ain't gonna be working this 9 to 5 because I was miserable.
Mm.
And so what I did is I started cutting grass straight up. That's like the lowest skill you can get. I think we can cut. Everybody on this chat has like cut grass since they were like what 10 years old.
Facts.
So I started a grass cutting company, man. I'll make it real short. And I just knocked on doors all summer long with my brother, trying to get to these people to sign these little bi-weekly contracts where I would come every 2 weeks. And I knew that I kind of had a sense of business, right? So I had a little truck and everything, lawnmower, and I would get people to sign these little contracts that I'll come every 2 weeks. And I knew, okay, if I get like 40 of these, contracts, it's going to be worth something, right? So I did that all summer, made money. I learned how to do sales. I learned how to do door-to-door marketing. I learned how to operate a accounting of a company. I learned how to do all that, right? And then at the end of the summer, I sold that company for $20,000. I just put it on Craigslist, and some kid's dad just came and bought it for him. So I was like, what the hell? It just like blew my mind. I was like, whoa, this is the truth, bro. Like I can do this over and over and over again. So anyways, the next summer I did it again with a bigger company, but this time I did landscaping and trees. I was doing $20,000 jobs now, but still getting those contracts. At the end of that summer, I sold that company for 40 grand. So I sold that business again. Then I got into construction, man, and I learned how to fully remodel houses. I'm talking about like, bro, I learned how to do roofs. I learned how to do sheetrock. I learned how to do flooring. I learned how to do bathrooms. Like an investor would literally give me a fixer upper like we get right now, wholesaling houses. I would do the whole project for about 20% cheaper than anywhere else because it all went through my company, right? So I started working with these big investors here in San Antonio, man. And one day this one millionaire young dude, he just came up to me and he goes, "Hey, bro, this is your company?" I was like, "Yeah, man, this is my company." He's like, "Damn, you're like my age, bro. Like, how do you like?" Because I was running $100,000 remodels, like in the Dignity Historic District and stuff. And he's like, "Man, y'all do everything for like way cheaper than I can get anywhere else. Like, how'd you learn all these skills, bro?" And I just stopped, bro, and I was like, "Yo, you're a millionaire, bro, and you're my age, and you're flipping like 10 houses right now. I'm doing all this work for you. Like, how did you do it?" The guy's like, "Nah, man. I use private money, man, and I have a license and I started in wholesaling real estate." And I was like, "What? What is that?" Like I literally like just clocked out, went home and started researching, bro. I'm like, what the hell is this, bro? But anyway, so that's how I got into wholesaling. But to answer the question of how do you know, I would agree with you. Is like I never move on to another business until I have this one fully automated, systemized, and delegated. Like my wholesale business, I can literally, it runs on its own. I have an office manager. I have everything. Like everything runs on its own. I don't need to be here to manage. And once you get to that point, I think is when you learn to start another business. I mean, Q, bro, is the master at this. I mean, the guy, Q, you have 18 companies, and it's crazy because they're in all different sorts of like industries and stuff. So me personally, I like to build vertically. So like I like everything to feed off each other. But Q's mastered systems and processes. So like once you master that, you could literally go into any business. It's all the same, right? It's just capital and getting the right people to sit in those seats and having the right experience. But me personally, wholesaling, and then once I had that delegated, I started cherry picking, and then I started flipping business, and then I got somebody to run that, and then now I'm doing buy and holds, and then now we're doing the social media business, and we're gonna start the education stuff, and like it all literally just feeds into each other, right? So me personally, I built vertical. And I love real estate. I need to get better at that because I know there's a lot more money in different industries. But me personally, I just love real estate. And but the when you decide to move on to the next one is just when you got it fully running on its own. That's when it's ready to move on to the next one.
Powerful, Paul. I hope that helped you. You got a lot of value out of that. Silver Willow, let me take this one just because it is a very, very simple question. Silver Willow says, how do you overcome sellers who are obviously overpricing their property? Remember what Q mentioned on everybody on the live yesterday, y'all. We are not alchemists. In other words, we're not turning rock into silver or gold. You know what I mean? We're looking for gold that's already there. In other words, we're not deal creators, we're deal finders. All right. So what that means is if the person is not trying to sell their property for wholesale terms or wholesale price, we make them our offer. If they don't want it, then that's it. We cannot talk people into selling their property to us for 30, 40, 50%. We make the offer. If they don't accept it, we move on and perhaps follow up depending on how we end the conversation, Silver. So that's how to overcome sellers who are obviously overpricing their property. Everybody has the right to sell their property for full retail, even people with super trashy houses. In the end, it's their decision as to whether or not they want to move forward. So don't overcomplicate this, Silver. Make your offer, shoot your shot, and if they don't accept it, then move on to the next one. Juan Manuel Valdez. Ooh, this one is good. Who wants to take this one? What is one key idea or action to take when hiring a Dyspo and acquisition manager, and how would you structure the pay structure? Ooh, this is a good. Y'all are getting juicy with it, guys. We only have a few more minutes, so make sure to put your comments in there that we can address you. But this is a really good question. By the way, we have 195 people live across all platforms on a Friday. Shout out to all you guys who are here. We love you guys to death. Go ahead, Q, or whoever wants to take this. Actually,
go ahead, Q.
So guys, I mean, this is the thing. Your pay structure is dependent on the amount of money that you're making. And I wouldn't even delegate either of these tasks until you know that you're absolutely ready. Like I know that a lot of people, they just kind of jump into a system, but they've never actually ran a business. And this is the funny thing that I've learned about wholesalers and people that get into wholesaling. Most of them aren't business oriented. I mean, let's be real, man. And I want to know, drop a 1 in the comments if you don't come from money. Like that's my first question to all of you guys. Drop a 1 in the comments if you don't come from money. And so for all of you guys that drop a 1 and you're being 1000% and vulnerable right now, I appreciate that. And I can see that you're already on the come up if you're in a live like this. If there's one thing that I see a lot is that most people that get into wholesaling are struggling for money. And so then you learn systems, you accidentally fail your way to hiring. Guys, I'm straightforward with y'all. And I've been a part of Aaron's journey since the beginning. When I first walked into his office, my dude had no idea what he was doing, but he knew he was onto something. He had a team. He had a team right out the rip. and he was willing to fail his way to figuring it out. You know what I'm saying? Anybody can give you the map, bro, but I see a lot of people that go into business, you know what I mean, and they don't pay for mentorship, they don't pay for structure. And why should you? It's hard to trust a lot of people in the industry, you know? But at the same time, you're gonna be making a lot of mistakes before you get this right. When I share my structure with y'all, understand that it is subjective to the amount of money that my real estate business produces. So it's going to be an entirely different model for you. My business is different from Aaron's, and my business is different from JR's. We all are at different income levels, all right? And so I just want to make sure that you guys understand that what I'm giving you isn't what you should go by. You should be able to project the amount of money that you're making. You should be able to corner in on the, you should be able to hone in on the amount that you can delegate to hire somebody. And then you should be able to base a percentage of profit share that you give to that individual that is based on the revenue that they produce for your company. So what I'm giving you guys right now is projections from what my company makes and what we're currently pulling in. All right. Wholesaling is a phenomenal business model. And for a lot of people, it's their first one. Okay. And so for me, guys, with the amount of money that we put in, I put all of my disposition people and all of my acquisition people on a base salary. If they're American and they're in-house, it's $28,000 a year. Not only do I give them salary, I also give them bonuses. So guys, for every property that a Dyspo manager sells, they make 10% of the net profits of the assignment fee. For every single property that an acquisition agent closes, I pay them 15%. My goal is to retain at least 40 to 50% of the amount of money that my company produces on a month-to-month basis. I'm very humble. I love giving. I love paying people amazing amounts of money to do great jobs. And if there's one thing that I see a lot of people make in this business as far as mistakes, is they don't fucking pay their people well. And you don't pay people well, guess what happens? They're not going to do a good job. And wholesaling is not fully sustainable all of the time. The market goes up and then it goes down. I offer salary for my team, so during that time frame, they have security until their next deal closes. I doing this, guys, by having payroll and pay structure, I also make them abide by specific quotas that have to be met on the sales floor to generate a specific amount of money. In essence, they earn their salary. And so I just kind of wanted to break that down for you guys because that's my current structure. Everybody's structure is different, but you have to find something that works for you based on your projected profits, your projected ROI, the amount of money that you're bringing in, the amount of gross and net, because all of this is going to help you weed out what you actually want to do versus what these gurus are telling you to do. So go on your own structure, but build it out. Track your KPIs. You cannot scale what you've never measured.
Beautiful, beautiful. I love it. So that's powerful. So dang, Q is paying his people $2,300 a month salary. That's crazy. So what about you, JR? How would you answer this? What is one key idea or action to take when hiring a dispo and acquisition manager, and how would you structure the pay structure?
Man, honestly, I switched up I was just talking to Q about this on his podcast. I actually switched up everything in my business. I don't even do straight to seller marketing anymore. So we're closing like 20, 25 deals a month here just in San Antonio with no marketing. And my pay structure is way different than it used to be. So like I think my business model is completely different than what they're trying to do. But when I was doing cold calling and straight to seller marketing, always being on the phone and stuff, it was very similar to Q. I was paying a monthly salary. That's going to get people, that consistency that they need to be able to come into work every day. Because, I mean, let's be honest, man, sales is not easy, right? Especially when you're first starting. There's like a 90, to me, there was what I would do is there's like a 90-day like hump you got to get over when you first get in this business. And you're going to be making so many calls and you're not going to get any deals for a while, right? So you definitely got to come up with some sort of salary in that beginning just for like basic necessities. They need to eat, they need to get gas, and they need to feed their family, right? And they need somewhere to stay. So just like you, I was giving $2,000 every month, and then I was giving a commission with bonuses. So that's what I did for the most part. And then after the 90 days, what I would do is when they're on a roll, I would increase their commissions. And I would take away the salary, and they would make more money. They would make more money that way, though. And if they didn't, then I would fire them. I mean, what am I going to keep them on the team for if they're not bringing in any deals in 90 days? So that's the way I approached it.
Yep, 100%. So we would do something similar to JR, which is we would do a 90-day what we call shark training. And what that means is for that first 90 days there was no but it was a little bit different. They had to earn their salary. And I like salary because I want to demand certain things. You know what I mean? If I'm commissioned, there's certain things that I can't demand, right? And so there's no salary for the first 90 days. And what that would allow for me to do is let them create their own salary reserves. So in the first 90 days, I'm higher commissions, no salary. And they need to be able to close and fund X amount of money within that 90 days. And if they don't, then they're up for termination. Right. And so, but if they do hit goal, then we unlock the salary after the 90 days because I want, and guys, I want them to have a salary because I want the highest quality people and I want them, I want to have them show up at a certain time. I want them to leave at a certain time. I want certain behaviors performed every single day. And I want to take care of my people. So that's why we would do $2,000 a month salary and 8% for 10% for acquisition and 12% for disposition. Disposition has never been salary in my company. The reason why is because I always felt like it's a whole lot easier. You're giving away equity, so that one has always been straight commission and 12%, and then acquisition has always been $2,000 a month salary and 10%. Right now, because I'm switching my entire wholesaling business is going virtual. I don't want any locals. No locals. Only virtual cold callers, virtual closers. Everybody in my company right now gets paid a salary of $4 an hour. And that's because they all come from outside of the country. And guess what, guys? They work harder than these Americans. And so right now I'm beta testing in my VA company. I'm beta testing acquisitions for me as well as my best clients, and we'll start offering virtual acquisitions. But right now, my company is obviously spearheading it. I don't want to offer anything that I myself don't use. Plus, I want to be more profitable. So I hope that answers your question, Juan. I think virtual is the way to go. I used to be fascinated by the concept of a big Wolf of Wall Street office, and I wanted everybody to come in wearing suits and you know what I mean. We it'd be crazy, and I throw Rolex watches and we throw midgets into the crowd, and and I'm no longer excited by that. And here's why: because I want to be profitable, guys. In 2020. I got to where my overhead before commissions every single month was like $25,000-$30,000 a month, and I don't know. I don't want to be there anymore. I don't like that. It's unnecessarily stressful. I like running my business from anywhere that I want, and not being tied down by any brick and mortar. So right now, my pay structure for everybody in my company is $4 to $6 an hour. So call me a cheapskate, but I think that I'm a profitable cheapskate. All right.
I think what you would call that is a capitalist, my friend.
Giddy! I love it. It's funny to see how we grow, right? All right, let's keep moving with the questions. We got some good ones coming in. I already know. Shout out to all you guys. We got 195 people. We're almost at the 200K mark. 200 mark, and it's on a Friday, y'all. Crazy. All right. Let's see. All right, the real thing. Oh, Tyler Austin said the real thing everyone wants to know is how you get those traps popping so hard, Q. Man, bro. I love it. All right. Let's see.
Can I expand on that last question just a little bit?
Absolutely, yeah. We got a new question that I just came across, but absolutely, please expand on it.
Yeah. So another thing too, man, there's a book that Aaron and I really love. I'm not sure if JR's read it yet, but JR always just feel like you're a doer, first of all, bro. I feel like you don't really care to read books. You'll read them because everybody thinks that they're good to read, but you really like, you just go out there and get it, bro. Like I just see you doing it. You know what I mean?
I do read a lot. I do read a lot. I do read a lot.
Cool. Well, then you're a closet reader because I didn't know that. There's a book that I read, right? And it's called Your Next 5 Moves by Patrick Bet-David.
Yeah.
And he talks about this concept. So there was a gentleman, his name, I'm not going to say his name yet, but he worked at Microsoft from 1984 all the way to the year 2000. And through commissions, through bonuses, by the time it was, hey, there it is, Your Next 5 Moves by Patrick Bet-David. If you're trying to build a team, this is the book that you need to read, all right? Because it talks about systems and structure, and I'll put this book way over Traction any day of the week, man.
Ooh,
and that's a big statement, bro.
That is a huge statement.
But Traction is outdated systems, bro. Your Next 5 Moves just came out literally last year, so I highly recommend it, all right? But there's this individual from 1984 to 2000. He worked at Microsoft. In the year 2000, Bill Gates stepped down as CEO and appointed this gentleman who worked for the company that position. From this point, guess what happened? For 14 years, he helped Microsoft become a multi-trillion-dollar company. All right. And with this being said, when he decided to retire, guess what person, guess what basketball team that we all know and love he decided to buy? The Los Angeles Clippers. So that gentleman's name is Steve Ballmer. And when he retired, his net worth was $14 billion. And he acquired the Los Angeles Lakers for $7.2 billion and built that stadium that they're currently playing out of. So guys, you got to think about this for a second. Is your business built to create millionaires? Do people have to get a college degree to work in your establishment? Because if you're not there yet, and I'm damn sure none of us on this live are there yet because I'm not there yet, then that right there is the goal. Like we want to be the next Apple. We want to be the next Starbucks. We want to be corporate. We want to have an infrastructure. We want to have investors investing into our stock. We want to be a public traded company. The only way that you guys are going to attain that is you would create an environment for employees to be able to grow. Can your company create millionaires? That right there is something that you have to ask yourself. And so if it can't yet, then you have work to do still.
Powerful. Very, very powerful. Guys, this is why I love talking with guys like JR and Q. They always get me to stretch my context and I see all the weaknesses everywhere in my businesses whenever I talk to them. Here's a good question. Niching down a little bit more. Solar Matt says, how can I get a deal listed on the MLS? I'm not going to go into the novation because you don't have to novate to list on the MLS, right? There's still cash buyers all over the MLS. So what we do, Solar Matt, is we get the seller to sign a listing agreement, all right, and we get the property under contract. And we let the seller know that we're going to be listing it on the MLS so that we can find and source funding partners to close on the deal at the price that they need. All right. Once you get their agreement on it, you let them know you don't have to do anything. You don't have to lift a finger. Let me do all of the work. You also don't have to pay for the realtor's fees. I'll pay for the realtor's fees. We do it all the time. I know a lot of you might be really, really afraid to have these conversations with sellers because you might be like, well, they can say that they would go and put it on the MLS themselves. But yeah, if they do that, they have to pay the realtor fees. All right. So what we say is, look, I'll pay the realtor fees, but allow me to put it on the MLS to get as much exposure for funding partners to close on this deal, because I don't use my own money to close on the deal anyway. I do it all the time, at least 3 to 4 deals a month. Right. We're getting on MLS this way. And guys, if you get it on the MLS, what's the advantage? You can get your goal is to get your wholesaling contracts in front of thousands and thousands of eyeballs and ears, right? That's what you want. And so MLS can allow you to do that. Solar Matt, I hope I helped you with that. Evie asked a good question. This is more on the entrepreneurship side. She says, where do I find good account managers? I've come across so many bad ones. I would just throw this out there, Evie, the internet. The internet, even don't overcomplicate this. Don't overcomplicate this. Here's what I want you to do. If you're looking for somebody for a seat, guys, number one, you need to make sure, can you afford them? How do you determine if you can afford a new hire? This is how I do it. I don't know how JR and Q does it. Here's how my company does it. Here's how we determine if we can afford a new hire. Do I have at least 3 months in reserves just for that new hire? Do I have at least 3 months in reserves? If I have 4, 5, 6, 7, even more, it's better. But if I have at least 3 months in reserves, then I can afford that new hire. And then how do I know if this person is the right fit? Write down all the qualities that you need to see for someone to successfully fulfill this role. What type of personality should they be? What type of strengths should they have? What type of desires, goals does this person in the seat have? Identify exactly what you're looking for, and Eve, start taking to the internet looking for that person. Social media, Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, Indeed, Glassdoor. Let the whole world know. Let people in your circle know that you're looking for this type of person, and if they know anybody who fits these criteria, to send them your way because you're looking to hire somebody. But don't overcomplicate it. These people are everywhere, and now in the internet age, we can find whoever we want. Don't overcomplicate it, Eve. All right. Boom, 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 boom. All right. Abraham Romero. Here's a good question. JR, let me throw this one to you. Abraham Romero, can you answer this one? Where do you find buyers? Where do you find buyers?
That's my specialty right there. So everything we do in this company is we get buyers. So like if you're just starting out, the number one place, bro, that I always start at is Facebook groups. So easy. So you literally just go on the Facebook groups where you go to your local real estate investing company pages, and literally people are posting deals in there all day, and then there's just people commenting all day that they're interested. So those are all just leads right there. You can literally scroll for months and you just get unlimited leads of local buyers that are actively buying. That's super easy. Another one is going to the auction. And those are live buyers. Those people are so easy to sell to because they're buying houses that they've never even seen most of the time. They don't know the condition of the inside. And once you tell them, they don't even know about wholesalers, bro. It's so crazy. They're just dudes with lots of money. Right, it's crazy. We get like real good. I've gotten some whales from the auction, bro. Like,
how do you approach them? How do you approach them whenever you go to the auction?
I mean, just real simple. Just I go with the business card, or my guys go with the business card, and they just tell them, "Hey, look, I know you're here looking to buy a property. I have 5 right now that we can go look at after this that are vacant that we can walk that are discounted 30%." You know, and dude, I found whales doing that, bro. Straight up whales. Like I'm talking about guys that buy 5 houses every single month for my company. It's crazy. And then another thing is you can pull data from like PropStream, and you can pull data from other data sites of people that are buying cash in the zip codes or counties that you're doing, and you can cold call them just like you're cold calling sellers or mass text them. And then another thing is reverse MLSing. So you can go for cash sales on the MLS in the areas of where your deal's at, and you can call those realtors that brought the cash buyer and tell them you have a deal in that same neighborhood. And then that's super easy too. We do that. We do all 4 of those methods, and we get so many buyers like that. So those are all pretty much free methods besides the data where you buy the data and market to them.
Beautiful. Man, my man just hit y'all with a straight up disposition course, y'all, in like 2 minutes. I love it. Tony on YouTube, he says, after mastering wholesaling, what will be the next business within the vertical of real estate? He's thinking like you, JR. So this is good. I like the way you're thinking, Tony. He says, after mastering wholesaling, what would be the best next business within real estate to expand? Buy and hold or fixing and flipping? What would you say? Let's say you've first let's qualify what mastering wholesaling means. I like to think about, I will call somebody who's mastered wholesaling if you're doing minimum $50,000 a month consistently for 3 months or more. If you're doing consistently 50K a month for 3 months or more, I want to say you've mastered the art of wholesaling. You know how to source lists, you know how to contract deals, you know how to find buyers, you know how to do the paperwork, you know how to coordinate your finances to keep a machine going consistently 50K or more a month. I would consider that mastery. Anything less than that, you know what you're doing, but you haven't mastered the process yet. 50K a month consistently for a quarter, and I will consider that mastering real estate. Anything above that is just bonus, right? Because you're making 50K a month wholesaling, you're making a lot of money. You know, you're pretty much, you can be living just about, you know, your dream. For most people, you can be living your dream. So let's say you're making 50K a month, 3 months in a row, and now you're like, man, okay, I got my business running. What's the next aspect of real estate that would be the best part of the business to get into, in your opinion, JR?
For me personally, I mean, if you're already wholesaling, like Aaron said, making 50K plus a month, do you really need more money? You know, unless you just have a hobby for it. Like me personally, I love remodeling. I had a construction company for 7 years before, so I love the process of flipping a house. I like going in there and I like the construction. And now my dad, I hired him full time to be with me. So it's awesome. Now we connect that way and we flip houses. But I would say definitely once you've mastered wholesaling, you have it. And in my opinion, mastering means you have it fully delegated. You have systems, you have that machine running on its own. Then you're able to go cherry pick the best deals that you actually want. And I would say hold them, right? Because you're already making so much money. And you're actually making so much money wholesaling, you really don't need any more capital, let's be honest. So start taking that money, purchasing real estate, getting the tax depreciations, holding on to the equity, and also the appreciation, and just getting cash flow, setting yourself up for your financial future. So I would definitely say hold. Unless you just like to do construction and remodeling like me, then flip as well.
I love it. Nice, solid answer, Tony. I hope that helped you. All right. Evie says, Aaron, are you still at 79,000? No, as of today, we are officially at contracted 87,000. Bubba, where do we follow you on TikTok? Give me your TikTok username so everybody can follow you.
It's called Bubs on Dubs.
Is it with a Z? Bubs on Dubs?
Yeah, but it has no spaces.
All right, Bubs on Dubs, guys. If you aren't already doing so, and you're living under a rock, if you have any love and respect for all the service that we do and giving you guys value, I want you to go follow Bubs on Dubs. Oh wait, it's on, and he's doing the headbang for us. Go follow Bubs on Dubs, all right, on TikTok, all right, because my man Bubba, my little nephew David, is going to be the next big thing, period. All right, the guy drops a lot of value. All right, if y'all guys don't already know. All right, so I love it. So with that said, we're officially Eve at $87,000 in 2.5 weeks contracted, and we need $13,000 more to be able to hit goal of 6 figures in 30 days or less. All right. So with that said, guys, we have a few more minutes. We have about 8 more minutes before we hop off this thing. I am looking for questions to be able to throw out to Q. Let's see if there's any more questions. Boom, 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 boom. I love you. I'm looking through all these comments. You guys are so freaking amazing. Boom, boom, boom. All right, I don't see. Patricia Figueroa asked a good question. Do you vet them out, the buyers asking for proof of funds? This is a good question, actually. Q, do you ask your buyers for proof of funds?
I'm a vibes guy, bro. Like if they pass the vibe check, then that's really what I look at. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like a lot of times, like I'm real big on relationships since we're national. You know, I get on a phone call, I talk to them. you know, and you can tell when somebody's actually in the game and when someone isn't. So, you know, some of the basic conversations, I always like some of the basic questions that I ask the person that I'm talking to, you know, how long they've been in the business, what kind of properties that they're buying, what's their exit strategy. A lot of times you can just tell when somebody understands the terminology, you know what I mean? And terminology is what I look for, as well as confidence. You know, like one of the things you guys could tell from the live that Aaron and I did yesterday is I actually buy houses. So, you know what I mean? When I was talking to these individuals, it's just a different presence that's there. I'm not talking them trying to convince them to sign a contract. I'm genuinely interested in buying their house. And so, you know, you can bring buyers into your office if you have one. If you don't, you know, then you can meet them out there. You know, Aaron and I, we met with buyers before in the past. We've met with them at Starbucks, at restaurants, coffee places, cafes, whatever, right? You know, the main thing, guys, when you're finding investors, you're going to know that this guy is actually making moves. Now, if you want to ask them for proof of funds, you want to go the extra mile, there's nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just know that some people are like, damn, like, why do you got to see my bank account? You know what I mean? And it's not a big deal, but it's also privacy. I like to see access. I like to see access. I like to see projects. I like to look at things that they actually have going on. That's how I do it. Maybe it's not the right way, but it's been working for me for the last 7+ years. So, you know, that's my advice to you, man. Vibe check.
Yeah, I like that. I've never asked, like, 'cause that's such a good question, Patricia, because I've never asked a buyer for proof of funds, but here's how we vet them out. Non-refundable earnest money deposit contingent on clear title. That's it. If you cannot put up a minimum of $2,500 of non-refundable EMD contingent on clear title, I don't believe you're a real buyer anyway. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, there's the vibe, of course, right? I can tell if I'm talking to a wholesaler. And the reality is, if you want to vet them out, what we do is we say, hey, how quick can you close? And if their answer is anything other than like, as soon as title clears, or it's a hard money loan, so probably a week, then I know it's probably a wholesaler, right? But your typical cash buyers, you know, they should be able to close within a week, max, and they should be able to put up non-refundable EMD. So that's how I vet them out. All right, we got 4 more minutes. I want to squeeze out as much value as possible. Josh Castillo, what's up?
There's a good question here, and we can do this one too. That one's pretty straightforward. Just do $10 earnest money. It's very simple. $10 is going to solidify the contract. I've heard people say that without earnest money, you can still do this. That's fine too. Just put up the minimal $10 and you're not going to have a problem. This
Answer the next one. What's the next one?
It's, do you both have a financial bar do you both have a financial bar set that you're looking to achieve where you'll totally automate everything and retire?
Oh, wow. I have my answer. What's yours?
I'm going to do this until the day that I die.
Yeah.
I will probably be at the office with Aaron cold calling.
Bro, can you imagine us as like super old men in our walkers, right? But expound on that. Well, re-ask the question for JR, but expound on, because I can't wait to answer this, but expound on what you're saying, bro. Here, let me pull up the question, JR, on the screen so you can see it. Do you both have a financial bar set that you're looking to achieve where you'll totally automate everything and retire? And how do you answer that, Q?
Dude, even at my level, bro, I'm never gonna stop, man. I think a lot of people have this like idea of making a bunch of money and being on an island somewhere and sipping on a martini and saying, hey man, we made it. That's not my version of happiness, bro. The day that I stop growing in any area is the day that I start dying. You will never not see me consistent. You guys know me. You follow me. I'm at the gym 5 to 6 days every single week. I'm eating the healthiest stuff. If you catch me slip up, you best check me. But my determination and my resolve is where I find peace. And so, is there a financial bar that I want to set? Yeah, it's probably 100 billion plus. If I get to that amount of money in my lifetime before I die, I will continue to go. Because guys, you know, let's be real, man. Like, I'm not grinding just because it's like this thing, like there's this goal that I'm trying to get to. It's never enough, and it's never going to be enough. I am comfortably uncomfortable at all fucking times of the hour, every hour of the day. And I love that, because challenging myself and being in the pursuit of this is what makes me happy. And so that's my peace of mind. I don't go to clubs. I don't go to bars. I don't socialize. I don't go out for coffee. I go to the office and I work. I go home and I love my family, and then I go back to the office and I grind again. I'm either in the gym, or I'm in the zone, or I'm at home loving my family. And so if I'm doing all of those things, that's my peace. I don't need to do any of that other stuff, and it's 1000% intentional. I like it this way.
Yeah, guys, keep in mind that is Q's peace. That's Q's version of happiness. So don't take that and say, well, shoot, Q's this successful. I want to drive that car. I want a TRX. I want to be able to do all of these things. So I must be doing it wrong. No, design it based on what fulfills you. And I want to share this because I can't wait to hear JR's thoughts on this. There's three types of entrepreneurs, guys. And I'm going to tell you right now, 90% of you guys fall in category number 2. And I'll tell you where I am and where I know Q is. I'm interested to see where JR is. There's 3 types of entrepreneurs. There's the technician, there's the freedom fighter, and there's the mountain climber. Okay? There's nothing wrong with any of these. You just have to determine what is going to bring you the fulfillment and excitement and passion and joy in life, right? So the technician is the person who just loves the work. They love the technical stuff. They're the person that has to be the Jordan or the LeBron. They're the ones who, right? They love the idea of mastering the art of whatever the work is, right? You could consider this the barber who just all they ever wanted to do was be the best barber. And so like that's their whole thing. Now they're an entrepreneur, but they're just, I want to be the best barber. It's that technician, okay? They just want to do the best work possible. Then you have the freedom fighter. This is 90% of those of you on this live. What you care about is you want to be able to have geographic and financial freedom. You want to go where you want and do what you want with who you want, when you want, and you don't want anybody to be able to tell you that you can't, right? This is 90% of entrepreneurs are just freedom fighters, which is an okay thing. Then you have mountain climbers. What's a mountain climber? A mountain climber gets the thrill not from the work. It's not the technical work that fulfills them. That's the technician. What fulfills the mountain climber is the climb. So what does a mountain climber do whenever they get to that summit? They get to the top. What's the first question they ask? Where's the next tallest summit I can go to? That's a mountain climber. It's the thrill of the climb. So that entrepreneur is like, it's the thrill of building something, right? You ever listen to Gary Vee and he says, I don't do this because of the money. I don't want to become the greatest entrepreneur because of the money. I get the money because I want to be the greatest entrepreneur I can, right? It's a different mindset. So Q is definitely a mountain climber. I'm probably in between the freedom fighter and the mountain climber. I'm always challenging myself for the next thing. I don't get a thrill out of the work. I'm definitely not a technician. You know what I mean? I like the idea of building. I love the idea of freedom, but even whenever I hit goals, as soon as I hit a goal, guys, I'm just like, okay, that was cool. How about the next one? You know what I mean? So that's me personally. So, you know, when will I retire? I don't ever see myself retiring. I think I'm always going to be doing something until death. So that's me personally. What about you, JR? Do you have a financial bar set for that you're looking to achieve where you're totally automated and ready to retire? What's your thoughts on that?
No, definitely not, man. Like, honestly, I feel like I can do whatever I want already. Like anything like
that's what I was going to say. Like, we're low key kind of already at a point where if we wanted to, we could chill right now, right?
Yeah, I don't gotta do this, bro. Like, we're good. I'm set. Like, I mean, you know, God willing, the company keeps going and the market stays healthy, and you know what I mean, based on the current market, right? But hey, don't get me wrong, bro. I love the vacation just as much as the next, man, bro. Like, I literally just went on a 10-day vacation to Hawaii. I love to travel, bro. So I'm like that 90% one where you want to do what you want, go where you want, bro. That's me. I love it. But at the same time, I am a mountain climber too. Yeah, for me, it's the thrill, bro. So like me personally, like, bro, like we're creators as a human being. We're creators, right? The difference that separates us between every other thing on this planet is being able to create, right? And that's what inspires me. That's what gets me up every day. Like I'm always creating something bigger, something better, something what's next. Like, dude, that's what drives me. I can like the money's a bonus. Don't get me wrong. I love the money. It's great, but that's not what we do it for. I do it for the creation, bro. That's what makes me feel alive. Like that's like the God in us, like straight up, like being able to think of an idea and make it happen, see it through, and get to the next one. Like so that for me, that's what it's just creating. I love to create. But I was vacationing too. Don't get me wrong. I'm down to go to Cancun like next weekend and just chill for 7 days, bro. I love that shit too. So I'm a mix of both of those.
You don't too, bro. Like this is what's amazing. For some people, traveling's their peace. I find my peace on the water, on my boat, fishing in the middle of the ocean, middle of the lake. That's one of the most therapeutic things that I do. I love shooting guns. So, you know what I mean? I would go to the range, guys. I have a huge arsenal of firearms. I'm a big time gun collector, and it literally just happened this year. But, you know, you do have to find something that is an exit, but only if it adds on to you. And when I say exit, like you got to be able to put your mind into a place where you find your peace. You know, there's this saying, and I remember I heard it on a movie. It was called Down by the River. And it's a pastor who's teaching his kids how to fish. It's one of Brad Pitt's first movies from the 90s, right? And he's teaching his sons how to fish. And he also is a sermon. He runs a church. And he's telling his kids, he said, look, my sons, God is in the water. If you listen real deep, you'll understand what I'm talking about. And so the entire movie, they're trying to find something spiritual inside of the water. And so I found that. I truthfully believe that God for me is in the water. You know, I think a lot of people don't know this, but this is one of my favorites. It's in the Gospel of Thomas, and it says, the kingdom of heaven is inside you and all around you, not in a mansion of wood and stone. So if you split a piece of wood, you will find me. And if you lift up a stone, I will be there. I love that passage in the Bible so much. And it's not in the Bible, it's in the gospel. I'm sorry, but it's something that I really resonated with, because that means that at any point in time, I can find my heaven because it exists within me and all around me. And so if it's water for you, then find God in the water.
That's really, really powerful, man. That's really, really powerful. I love what Tony says. He says, I honestly just want to be free. Money is secondary. 100%. And you know, that might sound really, really cliche, but guys, when me and JR started this live, we were talking about, I asked him, what did that feel like when $175,000 was wired to your account? And you know what he said? He was like, okay, cool. On to the next deal. Right. And I said the same thing when I hit my first 6-figure month in 2019. JR was there in that title company, and it was like nothing changed. You know what I mean? And I don't mean that in a bad way, like nothing changed, everything changed, but like in terms of like my state. And like it was like, okay, I'm still gonna show up on Monday and we're gonna keep crushing it and keep growing. You know what I mean? And so that's why I love being around guys like this. With that said, guys, we have been on this live for an hour and a half, and I'm really excited for the fact that on an average, we've had about 180 to 200 people live with us for this entire 90 plus minutes. We've dropped a lot of game. We've answered just about all of the questions, which has been really, really exciting. I'm gonna throw this to you first, Q. And then I'm going to throw it to you, JR. Q, what would you say in parting words to the inspiring and aspiring entrepreneurs who are on today's live? You're muted, bro.
For a lot of you guys that are joining this live, you know, you're really trying to figure out how to make a lot of money. And I'm here to tell you, and I don't want to sound cliche, as my man eats this Reese's Pieces, but it's a big deal. What's going to make you the most amount of money in the shortest period of time is what you're passionate about. What you really love to do, man. Like, you can go to the office and grind it out. Believe me, I think all three of us at one point in time has had a burnout in this business. Yep. And that's fine. You know what I mean? I was never passionate about wholesaling real estate. I'm passionate about impacting. I'm passionate about speaking. I'm passionate about motivating other people. I love just digging into someone's soul and showing them how much more their light can expand, bro. Like a lot of you guys are just floating balls of energy and you don't even know that you're snowballing every single day. You're getting bigger, you're growing, you're expanding. You can become great. But a lot of you guys haven't walked into your light yet. You know what I'm saying? And there's something that's crazy, man, because most of y'all might even just be in a dark time in your life. And I've been there too, bro. I've been depressed. I've been addicted to drugs. I overdosed on cocaine when I was younger. Like I've been through it, bro. I've been through it. Both these guys know I've been through it. And I am one of the most resilient motherfuckers that you'll ever meet. But this is something that I think that's really deep that I wish somebody told me a long time ago was you can follow the money and it's only going to stop there. But when you follow what you're passionate about, that's when you have that breakthrough. And it took me so many years in business to realize that this real estate thing was not what I wanted to live and die by. I was just tired of being known as Q, that real estate dude. I wanted so much more. And so, I'm aiming for the stars right now, guys, but it's just something I want to share with y'all. Once you have what you're passionate about, guys, going to the office and then grinding for it ain't even going to feel like work, man. And right now I'm having so fun that I've ever had in my business, reconnecting with these guys and just doing what we're doing right now. And just, man, I'm in my light, man. I'm in my light. And I urge you guys to walk into yours because that's where you're going to find your peace. All right.
Powerful, JR. Well, by the way, I love what Corey Sepulveda said. He's like infinite clutch justice. The fusion, it's the fusion dance, bro. It's the fusion dance. This is what I was talking about, bro. What would you say, Corey, to all the aspiring entrepreneurs who are going to watch this, who are watching this live and on the replay?
All right, so what I would tell them, I'm gonna give y'all some practical stuff because like y'all both know me and y'all know like, look, to me, I'm gonna tell y'all what I'm gonna do, and you're gonna see me doing it like within an hour. I'm gonna start hitting the pavement, bro. So look, everybody watching this live, bro, everybody on here wants to do wholesaling, right? That's what we do here, right? That's your live. So everybody can be just like us right here, okay? Flourishing in making amazing companies with amazing cash flow, amazing cultures. Everybody can do this. So I'm going to tell you one thing right now. Okay, look, how many people are on this live, Aaron?
Right now we have 198 people across all platforms.
Okay, so there's 198 people right here watching. All right, this is what I would tell y'all. About half of y'all on this show right here are not going to do anything. I'm going to be honest. It's a sad truth, but let's be honest. Most of y'all just want to be educated and maybe you're being entertained. Don't be one of them, all right? Maybe we can get these numbers up. Okay, out of this half, there's gonna be some that get their first deal and consistently get a few deals. Okay, and then out of that half, there's gonna be people that go on to build companies here. All right, real people off this live right here. I guarantee there will be some people to build companies and make millions of dollars. I guarantee it. And then out of one or maybe if we're lucky, two people on this whole audience out of 200 is gonna be like a fucking superstar. And they're going to be like killing it, every platform content. They're going to be making millions. They're going to be doing crazy numbers. And the difference between all that, bro, is just making a decision that's what you're going to do. That's it. It's that simple, bro. If you don't make the decision right now that I'm going to be one of those things, it's never going to happen. All right. For me personally, when I first started this, I would look at guys like Max Maxwell, Carlos Reyes, like all the OGs, right? And I would be like, yo, I'm gonna be like that, bro. I made that decision. I ain't stopping until I'm doing crazy numbers like that. I would go see their offices. I'm gonna have an office like that. But I made that decision, and I started the next day, or even that day, bro. I was crazy about it. I was like, I made the decision, right? So that's the number one thing that people don't do on this live. Y'all are not gonna make the decision to make a choice to say, this is the route I'm going to take. Hey, bro, everybody's different. Maybe you don't want this because this is a lot of hard work, man. Don't get me wrong. This isn't easy. If you're fine doing one deal a month, bro, that's fine. But make that decision to start working because anybody can do this. So I just wanted to say that, man. It's that simple. And that's like the hard truth. And I hope to God that everybody on this live becomes successful and starts killing the game, man. But that's what I would tell them.
I love that, man. I love that. And what I would say in closing remarks, guys, is if you want to be successful, drink ginger shots every morning, like my man Tang Nguyen, and eat pho at least once a week, all right, to be successful. No, but all jokes aside, I'm in 100% agreement with both of these men, and I would throw this out there just to cap off today's incredible live with all these gems. Is remember this, y'all. Remember this. Tang Nguyen says, "Yeah." All right. So check this out, y'all. Here's what I would say: when things are bad, we tend to think things are always going to be bad. And when things are good, we tend to think things are always going to be good. Neither is true. Life is amorphous. It's constantly changing. We have to adapt. But remember this, that nature teaches us lessons. And right before the twilight, right before the light breaks, it is the darkest part of the night. So when those times do come, because they will, just remember that you have to make the right decisions during the bad times. That's what makes the difference. You have to make the right decisions during the bad times. You have to continue doing the stuff during the bad times. You have to stay consistent. What I see that makes the biggest difference, and you guys disagree with me if you think that I'm wrong, is that when the tragedy happens, the difference between us and others is when the tragedy happens, we still show up. We still show up. Right? It doesn't mean that we don't mourn. It doesn't mean that we don't feel it. It doesn't mean that we're the same way, happy-go-lucky every single day. We have stomach aches too, right? But the reality is we still show up. It's not a start stop thing in our business. It is consistent. No matter what, we show up, guys. So how you conduct yourself during the dark times is going to determine whether or not you step into the light that Q's talking about. All right. So with that said, guys, my encouragement to you is to continue focusing on the basic behaviors that's going to take you to your vision so that you can accomplish your mission and do so expeditiously. All right. So with that said, shout out to my man Q. Shout out to JR Clutch for on a Friday evening coming out here, hopping on the live and dropping nothing but game. Guys, once again, it's been another live with your boy Aaron Bevins, the millennial entrepreneur. Until next time, let's get it.
Close it. Pick up the phone. Close it. Big ass scroll. Close it. $1 million deal. Close it. Yeah. It's all on you. Close it. What you gonna do? Close it. I want the proof. Close it. $1 million deal. Close it. Hey.